Fest, the largest celebration of Earth Day in the Valley on April 22nd, downtown Summerlin, is sponsored by and has been sponsored by Republic Service for a long time. We couldn't make this happen without Republic Service. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for that, for your sponsorship and
pleasure.
all the good things you guys do for us. We appreciate that a lot. Let's go back to recycling and talking trash. Give us some recycling tips. We were talking about your new campaign, Empty, Clean, and Dry, and things you can do, what you can recycle, and what you shouldn't. And maybe sometimes it's as important to know what we shouldn't be doing. What shouldn't we be doing?
Well, I'll jump in, Tracy. Thank you. I think the most important thing is to remember that if it's really large, it's not going to be easily recycled. Some of those things we prefer you to take to a charity organization and repurpose: chairs, couches, things that are still usable, clothing and things like that. We don't have any opportunity to reuse clothes and things like that. So the gist of what we're looking for is everything that you would imagine could be recycling. We have expanded all of our plastics, so many more plastics than what we used to take. So your detergent bottles, all the colored HDPE, all the plastics, we take all the plastics now, glass, aluminum, all the paper.
Tin cans, aluminum cans, all that.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I wanted to touch on your compressed natural gas trucks again. How long have you had those?
We put our first plant in 2012 at Cheyenne, and it powered the first 112 vehicles. Last year we expanded our footprint, and we have our second compressed plant in play across the street from that one. And when it's completely built out, we will have about 255 fueling stations. So that's nearly 90% of my vehicles.
That's great. And I'm going to transition over to Stan to continue the discussion about green vehicles. But before we go over to him, give us some information on your app. You were talking about your phone app and websites and phone numbers, so people can call in and find out information as they need it.
Yeah, both on Android and in Google Play and the iTunes Store. You can download our app. It's called My Resource, and when you download that app, you put your address or your account number in. It will tell you your schedules. It'll give you opportunities to reorder a damaged cart, as you have there, Paul. And we can also take compliments, and unfortunately we do take complaints that way as well. Our world is getting much more digitized, so people would rather have it at the touch of their fingers and rather than pick up a phone and talk to a person, unfortunately. Okay. So works really, really well.
And also VegasRecyclingCenter.com is where people can go to learn more about scheduling a tour for the Learning Center. And then, as Jim mentioned, any additional service questions, you can always, of course, go to our website, republicservices.com.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we're going to get an update from Stan on what's new in the electric vehicle world. Stan?
Thank you. Yeah, a lot went on last week. We had actually an electric vehicle summit. It was sponsored by the Southern Nevada Strong Coalition. That was actually formed out of Henderson several years ago. They got a federal grant to put that together. And then after the money expired, then the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada took it over. So Tina Quigley is the general manager over there. Really been good. But Southern Nevada Strong looks at every facet of the community and tried to study all different areas, including transportation, complete streets. How can we plan for not just transportation lanes for vehicles, but also include pedestrians and bicycles and that sort of thing. So they've done a lot of good work and continue to do a lot of good work. They joined with Marie Steele from NV Energy, who was on this show a couple months ago, in order to organize a presentation of alternative electric transportation, and had a lot of high level people from the Public Utilities Commission, from Senator Dean Heller's office, from some of the, like the Tesla Gigafactory came down. But the presentation was really eye-opening. We had a lot of electric buses for the first time, and the actual event was staged at the Mobility Transit Center down in the training center down at the RTC over on Decatur and Sunset there. So they were able to stage great big electric buses from companies like Proterra and Adamani that are basically starting to look at how to use electric buses, and that's a new thing that's been kind of pioneered in Southern California, in San Diego. They started with a pilot program with just one large electric bus, and now they're up to, I think, 30 in the fleet. And the Foothill Transit system in California actually handles about 14 million riders every year. And so to be able to convert in the San Diego, Los Angeles area, where they have the worst smog conditions in the country, to be able to go pure electric, the fleet manager now has sold that he's going to have all of his buses fully electric on that transit system. So we got to learn a lot and focus on some of the opportunities that are possible for this valley as well. We do have air quality issues out here because of our native desert dust, but also other things that generate that. I-15 runs right past the strip, so there's a lot of NOx emissions that come out of diesel vehicles from trucks and that sort of thing. So it's great that you're using methane in your in your trucks. Compressed natural gas basically is methane. It's a hydrocarbon like gasoline, but has a lot fewer carbons in the molecule. So it's a great fuel. It's a better fuel. It's still a fossil fuel, but it's still better and cleaner. So I think that's really neat. During our Greenfest celebration on April 22nd, every year we've been doing a kind of a lead-up procession to kick off the event Saturday morning, and we'll start at this year at Las Vegas Cyclery, and we'll have a bunch of alternative fuel vehicles, not just electric, but also anything from, and we've had some of the, in the past, we've been able to stage the Republic Services CNG trucks, and they're real helpful. I think the very first year we did it, we had a bunch of bicyclists, and we were trying to go down Las Vegas Boulevard over to UNLV campus, and so we put the bicyclists behind the CNG truck, and they kind of ran interference for us on Las Vegas Boulevard in the traffic, so that was really good. So thank you.
Happy to keep them safe.
Right, and good driver. I was impressed with the driver too. He took care of him like a mother hen. He was wonderful.
I just realized something else too. We were talking about you taking the trash out to the landfill and then having a gas to electric unit going on there. So we're actually recycling the trash from the truck, picks up the trash, takes it to the landfill generates natural gas, and then that ends up going back into the trucks. So there's a full cycle going on there with our trash and the running of the trucks. That's sustainable. Those are the kind of things we like to see because that makes a lot of sense. What else you got? Anything else to stay on?
Right. Another big event last week was ConExpo ConAg, which is the construction industry's great big show. I wandered around the gold lot of the Las Vegas Convention Center, and they had huge cranes and just these big monolithic vehicles that just dwarf people. But they also had a tech section this time, which was really good. And one of the speakers was our Hyperloop company out here in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, that's trying to come up with a new way to do high-speed rail with magnetic levitation. So again, it's related to electric vehicles, same type of technology. You're generating an electromagnet, and you're actually they're trying to put together these pods that will run through an evacuated tube, and they're looking at speeds of 750 miles per hour in these things eventually. Yeah. So ideally, being able to get in one of these tubes and shoot from LA to San Francisco in like 20 minutes. So that's the goal. The idea came out of something that Elon Musk was conceiving, again, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. Basically, he had written a paper on it. It was based on some earlier work that was done by Goddard back in the rocket days. So it's a concept that's been around for a while. There actually was a kind of a public station in New York that used compressed tubes. If you ever go by the Wells Fargo Bank and make a deposit and you put your money into a little tube and put it in a pneumatic tube and it pops over to the teller window, it works something like that. So, so the company set up shop here about 2 years ago. Last May 2017, they did a pilot run of the magnetic levitation system that was successful, and now they want to speed it up by evacuating a tube. So they've built a test track they call DevLoop, and it's actually a big long tube, at least a quarter mile or so, and they're going to try to do what they call their kitty hawk moment, and they're hoping to create this new form of transportation that will basically be faster than airplanes and getting you from point to point. So this test should happen by the end of June, according to Bruce Upin. He's their communications manager out there. And so right now they've got the tube built. They've added a vacuum now that they're going to pull down the vacuum in the tube and they've already tested the what they call the linear electric motor on there that's going to push the tube ahead. So really exciting things going on here in North Las Vegas, and we get to be a leader in this technology.
So this is going to be a high-speed train that'll actually run in the side of a tube?
Inside a tube, evacuated tube, so that takes out the air resistance. And basically what he told me is they use electromagnetic motor to get the thing started, but it's sort of like an air hockey game. That was kind of Musk's conception. He was thinking air, but once you get it going, then you have these little magnetic amplifiers along the way, but it's mostly, once you get it going, it's going to be floating on air in a vacuum, and it's going to be interesting how that works.
Hey, we got a magician over at the Luxor that might be able to help him with that levitation.
That would be cool.
Tune in next week to Shades of Green, and I'm your host, Paul Ira, and have a great week out there, and keep it green.